Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Sensei series. Today we're looking at 9 ways that guitarists can write better songs. Now, what makes a song good is largely subjective. What I may love, you may not like. However, what I've tried to look at today are broader concepts that apply no matter what your preferred genre is. As always, there are links to the individual points down there in the description. Alright, let's dive in. Number 1. Analyze your melodies. As a non-singer, my melodies would often come out stagnant, simple, and boring. By doing some analysis, I was able to break down why this was happening. You might find that all your lines are starting and ending on the same beat. Changing this up will add interest. Maybe your rhythms are overly simple and repetitive. It could be that every single end note of your phrases ends on the root of the chord. Being able to identify and understand these things allows us to go in and make changes that will ultimately be more interesting for a listener. Number 2. Understand theory. I'm not going to spend much time on this point. I feel like I mention it every single video, but that's how important it is. Check out my video on musical theory if this concept is entirely new to you. By understanding our theory, analysis is going to come much quicker and easier. It also gives us the tools required to apply musical twists and tricks that we might not come across otherwise. Number 3. Practice songwriting. This is a big thing that I think is overlooked by many people who want to write great music. It takes a lot of practice and patience to hone this craft. A random non-musician will not be struck with a bolt of inspiration and write Bohemian Rhapsody. Like anything else in music, we need to actively practice in order to improve. There was a period in my life where my goal was to write music full-time. I'm going to share a few ways that I personally would practice my songwriting. I would break down my practice sessions into chunks. My first time slot, I might do some writing exercises to get the creative juices flowing. Then I might move on to brainstorming some original ideas. I might figure out a number of interesting words that relate to the idea, and then find all the respective rhymes to them. With my next time slot, I might analyze a song that I love, seeking inspiration from it. And finally, I might go and try to write a song from an older concept or from something that came up during the brainstorming session. You see, inspiration ties into all this, but music is a craft that must be honed if we want to improve. All the greats spent time working on this stuff in one way or another. If you want to get there, you need to too. Number 4, see the world through writer's glasses. When you start focusing on your writing, you go through the world with what I call songwriter's glasses. It's a mental state where you're subconsciously searching for new ideas. Your radar is up and it's always tuned in. If we're coming from a world where we're first and foremost guitarists, this might be a new concept. You want to have a notepad, or in this day and age, an app on your phone where you can jot down any interesting things that pique your attention. It could be a line in a TV show, a witty saying your friend comes up with, an interesting metaphor that hits you when you're on the toilet. We want to create a stockpile of interesting ideas so that when we go down to write, we have a wealth of inspiration to draw from. A little trick that I'll share with you is to do some free writing as soon as you wake up. Free writing is taking a concept, it can be literally anything, and writing about it non-stop for 2 minutes or so. You want to create a stream of consciousness, writing down whatever comes to mind and putting your pen down at the end of the allotted time frame. You likely won't get a lot of usable material from this exercise, but it engages your creativity first thing in the morning. Your songwriter glasses are now on, and you'll go through the rest of the day more receptive to potential song ideas. Number 5, create lyrical roadmaps. I've found it's so much easier to write a song when I've already created a structure for what the song is going to look like. It's easy if I know that my first verse, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this in my second verse, my chorus is going to bring home the general idea, and I already know what my hook line is going to be that brings everything together. From there, all I need to do is fill in the blanks. On the other hand, it's quite difficult to write from top to bottom. This is when you write the first line, then the next line, and the next line until you're all done. You can tell when this has happened because these songs often lack coherency and structure. You're an author, and let me tell you, George R.R. Martin would not write A Song of Ice and Fire from top to bottom. Though if he did, we might have the new book by now. Number 6, rewrite. Great songs aren't written, they're rewritten. Someone said this, I don't know who, but they know what's up. Don't get me wrong, once in a blue moon, you might write something in 15 minutes that needs little to no revision. But those are unique times when you catch lightning in a bottle. In my experience, the best songs are rewritten and rewritten. Every step of the way, something gets tweaked and improved. The song that I'm most proud of took me over 2 years to write. Every rewrite, I would change something small, something I wasn't quite happy with. I did this a number of times until I had essentially written a whole new song. Because of this process, I felt confident with every line, every note, every word. I never would have gotten there without this arduous process. And I believe that it's better to write one great song than 100 okay songs. Another thing to remember about rewriting is that you can always revert back to what you had before. If you paint a mustache on the Mona Lisa, you're kinda stuck with that. Songwriting is not the same. Number 7, use resources. The fact that you're watching this video tells me that you're open to exploring ways of furthering your writing. There are a lot of really great resources out there that you can use to do this. Now, before I start sharing them with you, there are people out there who think that reading songwriting books and learning songwriting technique will make you sound generic. Kind of like you're songwriting by numbers. Those people are wrong, and more often than not, they're just trying to find a way to justify not putting in the work. None of these resources will write songs for you. They give you tools so that you can further your craft without having to go through the trial and error that our musical ancestors did. Anyways, there are a couple great books that I want to recommend. Writing Better Lyrics by Pat Pattison was a real eye-opener for me. Murphy's Law by Ralph Murphy is also another great one. I'll put some links to those down there in the description. And the website Coursera offers a free, yes free, no strings attached songwriting class. I'll put a link to that in the description too. There's also a couple of apps that I would recommend. Having a rhyming dictionary is very beneficial, somewhere where you can keep notes, and somewhere where you can record voice memos is also crucial. Lastly, getting a songwriting teacher or having somebody who can professionally critique your music can be hugely beneficial. Which brings me to point 8, give and receive critiques. This is one of the things that helped me take my writing to the next level, but it was also pretty tough. I would go to songwriting circles and workshops where we would play our songs for each other and then discuss what we liked and didn't like about each other's music. You gotta check your ego at the door and be open to the idea that our songs can always improve. Other people will hear things in our music that we simply don't hear because we're too close to it. Being receptive to suggestions can only help your writing. Of course, at these events you'll run into bozos who think they know way more than they actually do, but you'll learn how to spot the constructive and useful criticism. The flip side to this is giving critiques. You'll begin to notice things you like and don't like in other people's music, and you can apply that information to your own work. The added benefit of going to workshops is you expand your musical network. Our final point, number 9, study music from all genres. Every genre has something interesting that you can apply to whatever music you write. And I know what you're thinking. Samurai, I play 5th generation sludge metal. What can I learn from mainstream country? I'm not saying you have to take specific things from other genres, but try to look for interesting overarching concepts. The beauty of mainstream country music is the writers say something that everyone can understand in a way that no one else has said it before. It's an incredibly difficult concept that can be applied across the musical board, even in 5th generation sludge metal. There are countless tricks and tools that you can pick up that you never would have found if you stay in your comfort zone all the time. Another example is that by studying Broadway music, you'll see that syllables are always placed on appropriate beats so that the wrong part of the word is never emphasized. You would never say that word that way, so why would you sing it that way? This leads to really polished and natural singing lyrics. Stuff like this will come from active listening and analysis of all genres. That's it for today, my friends. I hope you found this information useful. Keep writing and writing. The more you do it, the better you're gonna get. I once counted, and I had to pour my heart and soul into about 50 songs before I came up with something decent. So be patient, and you're gonna keep improving. Please leave me a comment and let me know what song do you think has amazing lyrics. That way I'm gonna know you made it all the way this far in the video. If you enjoy this content, please consider heading over to my Patreon page where you can find out how you can help create a sustainable future for this channel. And if you're interested in a private Skype session where we talk about your music or any other aspect of guitar, please hit me up. My email is down there in the description. I'm Samurai Guitarist. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.